Am I the a-hole for moving out after my stepmom sold my dead mom's stuff and lied about it? My dad's not happy about any of this, by the way. He's furious, disappointed, sad, maybe all three. But what really set everything on fire was what I said to and about his wife, and the fact that I just packed up and left. It's been weeks now, and things are still messy. He keeps saying we need to talk as a family, but as far as I'm concerned, there's no family left, not in that house anyway. When I, 16, was 10, my mom died. She had cancer. It's one of those things you don't really understand when you're a kid, you just know that the person who made the world feel safe and warm isn't there anymore. One day she was in the kitchen, humming while cooking dinner, and the next, she was in a hospital bed barely strong enough to talk. Before she passed, she gave me this antique music box. It wasn't anything fancy in the sense of money, it was old, kind of scratched, the paint a little chipped, but it was hers. It had this delicate porcelain ballerina that spun around when it played this hauntingly beautiful melody. For Elise, I think. Mom said it had been passed down in her family and she wanted me to have it. She told me that when I listened to it, I'd always know she was still dancing somewhere. That music box was the one thing that made me feel close to her after she was gone. I didn't play it often, it was fragile, and I was scared something might happen to it, but I kept it on my dresser. Sometimes when I had a bad day, I'd just sit on my bed and stare at it. That soft reflection in the glass, the faint tune in my memory, it was like having her back for a few seconds. After Mom passed, it was just Dad and me for a while. Those were hard years. He did his best, I'll give him that. He worked a lot, so I was home alone pretty often. We didn't talk much about Mom. He'd change the subject every time. When I was around 14, he started dating again. I didn't mind at first, I figured he deserved to be happy. But when he introduced me to her, his now wife, something felt off immediately. She was nice enough on the surface, polite smiles, always asking if I was hungry, trying to make conversation, but it felt forced. Like she was trying too hard to be liked. I could tell she really wanted me to see her as some kind of mother figure. She even said it once, I know I'm not your mom, but I'd like to be there for you in that way. And I remember feeling this surge of anger that I couldn't explain. I didn't want another mom. I had one. She was gone, but she was still my mom. You can't just replace that. Eventually, she and Dad got married. I told myself I could deal with it. We weren't close, but we were civil. We coexisted, and honestly, it worked fine that way. Then about a year ago, they had a baby together, my half-sibling. I love the kid, don't get me wrong. I'm not heartless. But after the baby came, everything changed. She became the priority. Every conversation was about the baby, every schedule revolved around the baby, every cent spent was justified by the baby. It's like I went from being a son to being a tenant in my own house. Still, I told myself that's just what happens when new parents have a baby. You take a back seat for a while. I tried to be understanding. Then a couple weeks ago, something happened that broke everything. I got home from school, dumped my bag, and noticed right away something felt off. My dresser looked different. The music box, the one thing that mattered most to me, was gone. At first, I thought maybe I moved it without realizing. I checked the shelf, the closet, under the bed, behind the dresser, nothing. I asked my dad's wife if she'd seen it. She looked me straight in the eye and said no. No hesitation, no flicker of guilt. Just, no, I haven't seen it. Something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. But I didn't want to accuse her outright. So when Dad got home from work, I asked him. He said no too. He even asked if maybe I misplaced it or accidentally packed it away with some school stuff. I told him I'd searched everywhere. I tore my room apart that night. Every drawer, every shelf, every corner. Still nothing. Then later that night, while I was lying in bed, I heard their voices downstairs. They were talking quietly, but the baby monitor in my room picked it up because it was still connected to the one in their room. That's how I heard it. I'll never forget those words. Dad's wife said, I sold it. We needed the money for the baby's medicine. I froze. She went on to say that she'd sold it online, eBay, I think, for around $2,000. She said she waited until she was shipping it out to take it from my room because she knew I'd notice. She said she thought it wouldn't be a big deal since I never used it. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. That music box was my mom. It was the only thing I had left that was truly hers. I stormed downstairs. She looked shocked when she saw me, but she didn't even try to deny it this time. She just started crying and saying I needed to understand that the baby's medicine was expensive and they didn't have the money. I yelled. I don't even remember everything I said, but I know it wasn't nice. I called her a thief, told her she had no right to touch anything that belonged to my mom. She started crying harder, and Dad tried to get between us. He said, we can talk this out calmly. Don't yell. I said, calmly. She sold the last thing I had of my mom. And she lied to my face about it. She said, we didn't have a choice. The baby's health comes first. You're putting a box before your brother's life. I saw red. I told her that she was a disgusting person. That she was dead to me. That she wasn't my family and never would be. That she was worthless trash. Dad yelled at me to stop, but I couldn't. I was crying so hard I could barely see straight. I ran upstairs, threw whatever I could into my backpack, some clothes, my phone charger, the photo album of me and Mom that I'd kept hidden, and texted my grandpa to come get me. When he pulled up, I went downstairs. She was yelling at me for waking up the baby, saying I was selfish and cruel. Dad was blocking the door, telling me to sleep it off and we'd figure it out in the morning. I said, I'm not spending another night under the same roof as that woman. He said, you're not leaving. I said, watch me. And I walked out. My grandpa didn't even ask many questions that night. He just said, you're safe now, son. I cried the whole way to his house. Since then, Dad's been trying to get me to come back. He keeps saying, we need to talk about this as a family. But there's nothing to talk about. That line, that bond, is gone. I told him straight up, there is no family anymore. She's dead to me. I don't want anything to do with her. He told me that was cruel, that I needed to find forgiveness. That his wife made a mistake, but she did it out of desperation for their baby. That I'm being selfish and hateful. He said he could get her to apologize, that we could all move on. But I don't want her apology. I don't want anything from her. I told him she can rot for all I care. He got angry then. Said I'm acting immature and cruel, that I owe her an apology too for the things I said. That I have no right to talk about her like she's worthless trash. He said, you can't run away whenever something bad happens. That's not how family works. I told him, you let your wife sell the only thing I had left of Mom. And you expect me to live with her? You expect me to call her family? He said, she didn't mean to hurt you. She did it for your brother. And I said, no. She did it because she thinks everything in that house belongs to her now. She thinks Mom's memory doesn't matter anymore. He said he'll fight my grandparents if they keep letting me stay. That I'm still a minor and he can press charges or force me back. I told him I'd rather sleep under a bridge, in a shelter, anywhere but that house. He said I was overreacting, that this wasn't worth destroying our relationship over. I told him, it's already destroyed. The day she touched Mom's music box, it died. He hung up. Now he's telling other family members that I've turned into a disrespectful, ungrateful kid. My aunts have been messaging me saying I should understand how hard it is for new parents. But you know what? I do understand. I understand that babies need medicine. I understand that life is hard. But I also understand boundaries, and that you don't sell a dead woman's memory for quick cash. My grandpa told me he'll talk to Dad eventually, but for now, he's letting me stay as long as I need. He said Mom would be proud of me for standing up for her. That meant a lot. I still cry sometimes when I think about the music box. I keep checking eBay listings, hoping maybe I'll find it and can buy it back, but it's like searching for a ghost. Dad keeps texting. Come home. We can fix this. You need to apologize to my wife. But every time I read those texts, I just feel this pit in my stomach. I don't think I can ever look at her again without feeling sick. So, yeah. That's where I'm at. My dad says I'm cruel for the things I said and for walking out. That I'm punishing him and his wife for trying to take care of my brother. But I can't make myself feel guilty for protecting the only piece of my mom I had left, or for not wanting to live with someone who looked me in the eye and lied while stealing it from me. He says I'm overreacting. That I owe her an apology. That family means forgiveness. But to me, family doesn't steal from you. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't take what's sacred and call it just a box. So, am I the a-hole for moving out of my dad's house and telling him I want nothing more to do with his wife?